Hello, and welcome to this week's workshop mini, where in 20 minutes or less, I give you actionable content you can use in your business, abuse it, make a lot of profits, make sales, be more productive. That's what this is all about. And of course, we always talk about content because Facebook group is passive income with content. So join us there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel if you're watching the replay. If you're here live, we do these Fridays. Today's topic is really cool, and I thought of it the other day, and I bumped this one to the top because I was so excited to talk about this because I had like a really cool light bulb moment. And I titled it, Why Knowing Less is Better. Not just knowing, but in the learning sense, but knowing how to is sometimes not as good, okay? As sometimes not knowing how to do something is actually a huge benefit for you. There's a marketer that I follow. She's very, very successful, and much of the things that she knows about is like how to make money in business, right? That's awesome. Everybody wants to know that, how to make more sales, how to make more money, how to do things more effectively, how to title things, how to make great funnels, things like that. Everything that marketers need to know. But ask her about how she puts together certain pieces of content, or how she makes some lead pages, or how she connects her auto webinar to her autoresponder, and she's just like, I don't know, but making 7 figures. When I first started in 2010 online marketing, I was very, very curious, and to this day, I'm very, very curious. And my rule of thumb was kind of like, I need to know how to do everything before I tell somebody else to do this for me in my business. And that's kind of how I drove my business the whole way through. I'm like, all right, sure, let's do children's books. Not going to outsource the graphics. I'm going to learn Photoshop. I'm going to learn all these different programs to do graphics. Connecting an autoresponder to a WordPress site. Nope, I'm not going to outsource that. I'm going to learn how to do that the whole way through, and then I can tell somebody else to do this for me. And the problem with that thinking is that you have a tough time, telling somebody else to do that work, because you're like, I know how to do this. Why should I pay somebody else to do this for me when I can do this myself very well, right? And I can use this in so many different examples in my business. Like, for example, I use Kajabi as a membership site to set up my products. And it literally takes me I could sit there in front of the TV and do the whole setup of Kajabi. It'll take me 20 minutes, whatever. It's not a big deal. But if I didn't know how to do that, maybe I could refocus my energy and refocus my efforts and have somebody else do that for me without the thing in my head, that person in my head saying, oh, well, you know this, you know how to do this already, Debbie. Why should you tell somebody else to do this? The point is that you don't need to learn how to do everything, okay? Now, I usually operate under, and this is me right now, and this is me transitioning, okay? This is me I'm going to give up doing this. I'm going to give up doing setting up my Kajabi site because somebody else can do that for me. Because recently, this has really been coming to light because I would sit down at my computer, at my desk for 90 minutes and do all this stuff in my business without anything to show for at the end of the 90 minutes, meaning that it's also administrative things that somebody else can be doing in my business, but I can't let it go because I know how to do everything. So why don't I just do it? Right? And I'm sure, give me a yes, an amen, or a comment, or whatever it is that you can do right now, and tell me that, yes, it is hard to give up some things because you know how to do it and you can do it best. And these are the things that as we grow as business owners, as entrepreneurs, that we have to let loose, right? Even though we know how to do it, it doesn't mean that we should be doing it. So if you don't know how to do something in your business, that could be a huge advantage to you, and it should not be any block or barrier to entry, because you don't have to know how to do everything. Okay. And actually, the first kind of thing that I was like, you know what? I don't know how to do this. You do it, is Facebook advertising. Facebook advertising is a monster, and it's something that literally changes every single day. Facebook will change their interface. They'll change how something works. They'll change something crazy about their system that if you're not in Facebook groups and you're not learning every little bit of Facebook advertising, then you could be sitting there literally for hours upon hours, reading, like, scratching your head, like, figuring this stuff out. Now, there's an advantage to that too, and that's the flip side of things, because when you know the inside and outside and every single bit and part of a process, like, let's say Facebook advertising, we talked a lot about, like, ManyChat, Facebook message marketing. If you know how to do that stuff, that makes you very, very valuable. And that makes you a person that people will actually pay for, either providing a service or providing coaching or whatever. So there's that aspect of it. Like, if I wanted to talk intelligently about putting together a children's book, I could do that because I know how to put together a children's book. I know exactly every single thing you need to know, the graphics, the resolution of the graphics, where to get the graphics, how to make the graphics, how to put it in a document, how to make the graphics cover the whole entire page of a page in a book, instead of that being there being borders on that page. I can teach somebody else how to do this because I've sat there and I've done the work. There's a real advantage, but at some point you have to pick and choose what you want to become an expert in. So for me, Facebook ads, I'm like, there's no way, no way, no how that I'm going to be sitting here for hours and buying courses and it changing one day after the next. I'll just use an expert and have somebody else do that for me and be like, you know what? It is okay that I don't know how to do this myself. It is okay because there are other people that know how to do this. And even if I learned it myself, I'm still not going to be as good as the person that's doing it for me. So getting back to the hybrid model of outsourcing, which is something that I've always preached, is you do stuff in your business and you also outsource stuff in your business as well. At some point, you're not going to be able to do anything. If you actually want to get things done, if you want to have a life, then you're not going to be able to do everything in your business. And I talk to people of all levels. I have a friend who has an acting, teaching career or business, right? And she outsources so many things, and I'm like, well, what's that document? She's like, oh, I just write everything out in a document and I send it off to a person to put together slides for me. And I'm like, you know what? I sit there, I write all the content for my slides, and I do the slides myself. And it's like, knowing that I have to do that is kind of like, if somebody were to do that for me and then I used all that energy to just do the content the best that I can, then the whole project would be a lot easier and a lot less taxing. Overall, the whole point is that you don't need to learn how to do anything, but decide what things you want to learn and do so that you can be an expert and that go-to person for that topic, especially if you could make money from that topic, right? You learn it yourself. Now, again, you could do a hybrid of that. You could say, tell me all the things that I need to know. Help me out here, outsourcer. Tell me what I need to know. And then you could do it like that, like have somebody create like a summary for you. But again, it's sometimes just being in the trenches and doing it and knowing it is a big advantage to you. Why don't I just do it myself? Because it's going to take me X amount of time to explain it to somebody else. I totally agree with that, unless it's something that is repetitive. If it's something that's repetitive and you keep having to do it, then I would say film it once. And we talked about this in future videos. Like, I think it was the delegation video. Check that out. Like what tools you can use. I use Zoom. Film a quick Zoom video, save it in a spreadsheet, go back to that video because it's all in there, and tell that person to do that task. Because I have that too, where I'm like, I'll just take 5 minutes to do it myself, but it's 5 minutes that happens every month or every week or whatever it is, and that time adds up. So you really have to decide if this is a task that's ongoing or if it's like a one-time thing. Energy plays a huge part, especially for me. I can only really sit now for 90 minutes at a clip, and then I have to get up. So I have to use that time really, really wisely, and I need to be getting work done in that 90 minutes, and I have to be being the best me, right? And you have to be the best you. The hardest thing, I promise you, is going to be letting go, giving up stuff. Have a good process to check the work, of course. Not everybody's going to be perfect, especially the first round. Don't get frustrated, but have a good process of checking the work, just making sure it's done right. If it's not done right, correct the process, but still give it up and refocus that energy so that you can be the best you and get the best work done and best output. That is our 20 minutes today. Hope you enjoyed this session. I love talking about this, and this was just something that really, really stuck out to me, because you see successful people all the time and they're like, yeah, I don't know technology. And meanwhile, their whole business is technology. It's like their whole business is online marketing. But so you can tell, and it just proves that it's not a necessity to be successful, to know how to do every little nitty-gritty thing in your business, right? All right, I'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your day.